What's up? What's up? What's up? It's the MKD. It's the MKD. Got Game in the building. It's the MKD. We got a Leah in the building. Mr. Make It Happen. It's the MKD.
Hey y'all.
It's the MKD. All day long.
Hey y'all.
It's the MKD.
Hey y'all.
It's the MKD. What's up? What's up? What's up? Welcome to the Ketchup podcast, episode 80, Deeper Than the Surface, with your host, Lofton, aka Mr. Hayes Adonis, and my co-host, Rajim, in the building.
Mr. Make It Happen all day long. Once again, let's go.
And back once again. You know, we got our correspondent out here. You know what I'm saying? The correspondent for the single and summertime finds. Also, she does wines and cheeses. She's an expert walker of the city, helping everybody out. She also does security on the side. Sometimes she makes great paper airplanes that do loops and stuff. So, you know, you always got to welcome her back. And she's a new aunt of, 75 kids. It's fantastic. Welcome back. Aaliyah's in the building.
Hey y'all. Yes, I know.
And last but not least, we've got our guest for the week. You know, I heard he's a accountant. I heard he does some insurance stuff. I heard he was ex NYPD down here doing the daggone thing. We want to welcome everybody. Put your hands together for Thomas.
Yes, sir. Let's go. Hey, y'all.
Welcome. So, you know, we got to get it started like we always do. How was everybody's weekend? Rasheen, talk to me, man.
Hey, bro. Real talk, man. I had a good weekend. This weekend was the Orlando Cigar Festival. So I got to go to a day party. It was a day party, but it was an all white party. So I went to an all white day party, whatever it was turned up. Matter of fact, bro, I'll tell you what I did. So
blend it right in with the rest of them, but continue.
Wait. No, I said all white party. We wore all white. I wasn't white. It wasn't a white party.
I was like, how'd you get to go? They just told you it was all white.
So I I'm still no sugar right now. So I messed around and forgot. Once I got there, I started turning up and I started drinking. I was drinking on Jameson. Right, I like Jameson, so I started drinking on Jameson. So totally forgot that I wasn't drinking sugar, and I'm like, crap. So by the time, we went to Corona's, which Corona's is another cigar spot or whatever. Got to Corona, we started drinking there or whatever. Got to the day party, and somebody bought me Hennessy. My boy was like, hey man, you want Hennessy? Blah, blah, blah. So we drank Hennessy. So me, in my head, I'm like, dang, I'm not supposed to be drinking, blah, blah, blah. So against my better judgment, I switched it. Right, to Tito's.
That's horrible. What are you doing?
Yeah, exactly.
If you have the buffet, just keep eating at the buffet. You already made the decision.
Clearly being brave at drinking, but continue. This story just got more interesting.
So between smoking, drinking Hennessy, Jameson, and Tito's, chilling with them three dudes. My night didn't end well. I'm just gonna kill it like that. My homeboy had to drive me home. Yeah, it was a situation. Honestly, I mean, so I needed it. You know what I'm saying? I didn't do nothing too bad. You know what I'm saying? But some of these ninjas on time. But anyway, had a good time, man. The all white party, man. We was G'd up, had a great time or whatever. Great vibe. They play some, some old school and some new school. But we get together. It was like a family reunion. You know what I'm saying? I was waiting for my uncle to throw some on the grill. You know what I'm saying? We had a good time. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if y'all see my Facebook and go check it out or whatever. But yeah, man, other than that, man, it's been a good week. It was a good week.
Good stuff. So, of course, Aaliyah, you got to let us know, you know what I'm saying, since you was out of, you put in your leave to HR, you know what I'm saying, it got approved and whatnot. So, you got to let us know since you was out there handling things with family stuff, man. Let us know how you been.
So basically, I've been good. I've really been, I told y'all before, this is the first time me living in the city in like damn near 30 years. So, all my cousins and stuff are now at the, having their second and third babies, and about 4 of them had like babies back to back. So I have been a very busy auntie, you know what I mean? My auntie cousin, So
Auntie,
Basically,
cousin.
right, cousin. They call me cousin Aunt Leah. So between just one of them being born, going through the baby shower, the baby reveal for another one, then because that one is due in like September. That's what I was telling y'all before the show started. Then we had one that was born literally like, hey. Are you busy right now? Like, no, wow, what's up? I need you to pick up TJ. My water just broke. What the hell? Where's your baby daddy? Like, it was
Somebody.
one of these things. Like, I'm the only one. I was the closest one to him, so it was like a constant back and forth. So between new babies and 3 and 4 year old toddlers, it has been a beautiful mayhem. That's all I can say. Like
Okay.
I love the baby, but I ain't changing no diapers. I'm not responsible for what your 3 or 4 year old pick up, and more than likely, I gave them the candy. So it's been blessings on top of blessings, man. So
Congratulations.
That's
That's what's
dope.
up.
That's dope. Congrats, congrats. We always, new life, what I'm saying? Creating a better world, you know what I mean? So that's what we all about, trying to get it done. And also, what I'm saying? We ain't gonna leave our guests out, man. Thomas, man, welcome to the show. And how was your weekend, man?
Man, my weekend was dope. So, Roz will tell you from off top, I'm a big golf head, right? So, I took him out to the range. And my other boy Calvin, he was on the show earlier. So he knows I take little sticks and hit these little white balls. And this past weekend was the Masters. I spent from pretty much Wednesday to Sunday
Oh, did
instead of watch the Masters. This cat, Scotty Scheffler, bananas, got the worst looking swing in the world, but he does it too, right? He gets to get that little white ball and that little white cup, and he made bank. But yeah, I was in my zone, man. I had my little drink, a little cigar, chilling with my dog, and it was a fantastic weekend. Very low key.
Hey, that's dope. That's dope. Hey, I'm also one of those golf heads, so I'm always out at the range, always on the course, trying to get it done, trying to get better and whatnot. So didn't get a
really,
chance to do it. Yeah. I'll be out here. I'm literally,
I'm
hey, I'm
getting
down.
up,
I'm
dog.
I'm down the street from the course, so I'll be about it. But
I,
I'll be tight
let
in the
me know.
woods.
Let me know.
Oh yeah. The weekend for me was pretty cool. So I had one of our former guests, one of my boys came down from Ohio. So my man Brian came through. He came and hung out. We weren't able to get over to the all white party, dress up, smoke cigar. You know what I'm saying? We didn't get over there. Uh, Muggs was tired. Man. It was like we was wore out. Just one of those things. We did head over to St. Pete, go kick it at the pier. They had a blues festival that was going on. So we checked out some of the blues. They was out there doing their thing. You had the beach was out there. So it was nice, man. We hung out, what I'm saying, had some gelato, had a good lunch, checked out some art, what I'm saying. And he was photographer Tyson. I made that word up,
Okay.
you know what I'm saying? So he was out there taking photos
I
and stuff.
understood.
He was
I
he
understood.
was getting it popping. He was getting it popping. So he was out there doing his thing, and all that stuff. So we got some great pictures and stuff like that. So you can see him. He follows us on Facebook and all that good stuff. So you may be able to see him if you're a friend on the Mint Ketchup Podcast Facebook page. You know what it is. So we gonna keep it moving because we know if you had a great weekend or you had a bad weekend or you just got a case of the Mondays. Everybody hate the Mondays. You don't like Mondays, but we do have that one thing that makes it no matter if you had a bad weekend, a good weekend, or had a case of Mondays. We got the drink of the day. Drink of the day. All right. So for the drink of the day, I'm gonna start out. I made myself a little, I would say, incredible mule. So a little green in that joint. So I got a little vodka in here. I put some, I just got some liquor on the bar. It was kind of wasting. And what is the kinky? I put some. It was like the apple flavor. I threw that in there, and then what I'm saying, I put the ginger on top of that joint. So I just made me a little, I'm saying, incredible mule. That's what I'm gonna call it because it got a little grain to it. Incredible mule. So Rajim, talk to me, man. What you doing?
So man, still no sugar, bro. I'm trying to drop. Hey, first of all, let me say this. I'm down 8 pounds. You know what I'm saying? I've been no sugar
Hey.
3 weeks. No sugar 3 weeks. I'm down 8 pounds. You know what I'm saying? No big backs for the summer. You know what I'm saying? Summer's coming. You know what I'm saying? What it says.
Oh,
And
it's just
so
jokes talking stuff. Keep going.
so what I did was, you know what I'm saying? So I'm drinking Tito's, because Tito's ain't got no sugar or whatever. And I just mixed it with zero. You know what I'm saying? and I just called it. I just called it, thin for the win. You know what I'm saying? Because that's what. Hey, summertime's coming. I'm going thin for the win. You know what I'm saying? So I'll mix me a little Tito's, mix me a little Coke Zero, and I got the. You know what I'm saying? Thin. What is it? What did I just say? Thin for the win. Thin for the
Yeah,
win.
that's what
Let's
you
go.
said. That's what you said. Hey, thin for the win. So we got thin for the win. So we'll go. I'm gonna go to the guest this time because I already know Aaliyah is gonna bartender our head off. So Thomas, talk to me, man. What did you bring to the table besides the you know what I'm saying, the cigar?
All right. Well, listen. Ross told me usually do drink of the day, and I'm not a big heavy hitter with the drinking, so I ran over real quick next door, Publix liqueur. I found this thing right here. I'm not endorsing, but this right here is a mango liqueur. Look for that when you go to Publix, right? And a little bit of simply lemonade, right? And a little bit of lemon, and I'm calling it bittersweet memory, right? Because
Oh, bittersweet mint.
it's bitter
Okay.
and it's dope. Goes
Hey,
really well with this cigar.
I
Blue
like it.
State.
Good
Okay.
stuff. Good stuff and good name. Better than
Yes.
some of the names we've had on here in a while. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
So good
For
stuff.
real.
And you knew what was going on. So
Yes, sir.
after
I was
that,
well advised.
I appreciate you. I appreciate coming in strong and prepared. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? You ready for the
Yes.
Sure.
test.
I'm
That's what
fair.
I'm saying. That's always
fair.
good. You're gonna get it done. So now, Aaliyah, our bartender, man.
Without
Talk to
further
us,
ado.
bartender. Yeah, present what you got. You had 2 weeks to work on this. So come on now.
Yeah. Let's go.
I have a cucumber and basil gin and tonic. I've been shut up. So I've been
Do
you
it.
as usual, my Hendrix, my regular tonic. I was at a they had like a little festival type thing in the city here this weekend, and they were selling like these little gas candies. And I had one that was basil and cucumber. So of course I was like, "Ooh, this would be good as a drink." So of course I got home. I worked up on that recipe, threw some cucumbers in there, a squeeze of lemon, and muddled cucumber and basil in my shaker. Threw my gin in there to flavor it a little bit. Poured the gin out into my cup and just filled it with ice and tonic. So there you go.
Hey, you know what? A drink is always good when you gotta muddle that shit. Muddle,
Yeah. When you got to muddle
muddle,
something, I
muddle,
just learned.
muddle.
I just
You know
learned
what I'm
last year.
saying? Muddle
Muddle.
that don't.
Get your muddle. Hey,
It's
I want to
good
say
to
this
me.
too. I want to say this too to Thomas. Hey, Thomas, we ain't tell you this though, but Aaliyah is also a cigar connoisseur. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So
I
so
am.
she's also a cigar connoisseur.
She got all the
We
connoisseurs.
yeah,
You just put it at the front and then say
yeah,
connoisseur. She probably that.
yeah, for real, yeah, she probably that. You know what I'm saying?
Dope.
Cupcake connoisseur, cooking connoisseur,
Well, I hope this gets
cigar
your approval, Leah.
connoisseur,
This is what I
drink.
snagged out of the box today for this special occasion.
What is it?
It's a Jewish State Herrera Estelle. On camera here.
I like
I
him.
was,
All right.
He got taste. He
I thought
ain't
that's okay.
a raggedy ass Romeo and Juliet.
I ain't got a Romeo and Juliet. Why you playing?
Look, I
I
ran
got
out
a
of
Toronto.
backwoods,
I got a
so I
Toronto.
said, let me.
Thank you very much. I got a Toronto.
Five out of it. Fucking with Joe. But no, honestly I haven't been, I don't know where my cigars are at.
That's one thing we got to unpacking.
The
Shit,
man
Yeah, that.
smoking
Not an unpacking connoisseur. We know that.
yeah, she don't
kind of.
unpacking connoisseur.
I'm actually going to unpack this. No, I'm not going to unpack this summer because I ain't going to be lying.
Unpack
I
since
am
season
lying.
one.
Oh, I am going to give a lot of stuff away to the Goodwill though in the next few days because I did renew my lease, so that means I'm staying. So I will,
Wait a minute. How
heck,
long is the lease?
Yeah.
How long is the lease?
I say that's
here.
a wild statement right there. That's a
Yeah,
wild
yeah.
statement.
You gonna
You gotta say pause after that.
yeah. No did.
Yeah, no diddy. There you go. There you go.
No duty, but whatever. But yeah, I really don't know where the hell they at. So I'll probably just wind up going to buy some new ones. I have been wanting one. Well, we had a few nice days here in Philly, so I've been wanting one, but I have been busy, so I haven't, you know, haven't.
Got
So I've been
around
going
to it. I
on.
see.
I've been going on cigarbid.com, and they got some really. You can catch some really good deals. I bought like 45 sticks like last week. Ask Thomas, and I caught me some nice cohibas from
Christmas came
Nicaragua.
early.
Some Nicaraguan cohibas.
The
You know what I'm saying?
what I be talking about, man.
What's that?
I was talking to Hayes. Anyways, no, I'm not, I'm not gonna go on cigar bid because in my mind they done sniffed it or something. I can't do it mentally. No, but it's a cigar shop not too far from here. So I probably just will pick up something,
Good,
simple.
good stuff.
Thomas put me
Good
on.
stuff.
So my favorite stick right before we move on forward. Thomas put me on my favorite stick now. No Diddy.
Yep. Y'all gotta say cigar. God dang, man.
Woo!
Like, what are y'all doing, man?
It's called a stick.
I don't know,
Okay,
Rob.
okay. My
It's
favorite
called a
cigar.
cigar.
My favorite cigar currently
Thank you.
is my Tobacco Special. Thank you very much.
All right, well, we're
I
gonna get
bet
off
it is
the
a
cigar
special.
thing until somebody falls into the wrong area. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're gonna keep it pushing. But while we on here, man, Drink of the Day is popped off. We just gave you a little cigar information because I'm not gonna call it that other word. We give you some cigar information. But you know what you gotta do? You gotta subscribe, you gotta hit the bell, you gotta friend, and you gotta follow. We on all streaming platforms at Mid Ketchup, plus on YouTube, because we got TV ready faces out here. We ain't radio. You know what I'm saying? We got TV ready faces. So you need to be up here looking at us, seeing what's going on. Cause we pretty out here. You know what I mean? We pretty out here. So
Okay.
we do our daggone thing. So we gonna get it popping. We gonna what up?
Before we move on, I just want to tell Jody, look, Jody, I got some plants and they alive.
Well, I know Jody appreciate that. And you got some good clean air in there. You know what I'm saying? They up there doing the thing.
So,
Plants is doing plants.
Quality and shit.
Depends on what kind of plants they are.
No, basically so what happens is I done got smart. Home Depot understand me because I've been complaining, right? So now they got these little fishbowl looking things, right? So you put the water, and mine got some water and some like activated charcoal type growing things. So I ain't even gotta be here. They water their motherfucking self, so they ain't going to die. So shut up, Jody.
You got self-watering plants. That's some G shit right there.
That's the laziest planting ever. Like you be like, oh, just
I'm saying you got self-watering plants.
they the cats of plants. You just put some food and some water out there, and be like, all right, live.
Yeah, bye.
All right, well, we're gonna keep it pushing, man. We gotta make sure that we give some knowledge, and we want to really appreciate, you know what I'm saying? Because we really appreciate every time somebody comes out here, spends their time, and give us some information about themselves, their life, and their story. You know what I'm saying? So we want to make sure that we appreciate and give a warm welcome for Thomas. So Rajim, man, go ahead. Y'all know this was a guest that you was able to set up. This one of your boys. I want to go ahead and let you lead this off. Rajim, man, go ahead and take it.
Yeah, man. So definitely, man. First of all, I met Thomas probably it's been about 6-7 months now, maybe almost a year now. And I met him through. He's a friend. He's a friend of a friend, pretty much. He's my friend's fiance's. My friend's fiance's sister's man.
But he said Beyonce.
Not Beyonce, fiance.
It's my cousin's Beyonce.
So anyway, man. So a lot of times, like we always say, man, we don't let a lot of people in the circle, man. Circle is kind of small, but good people come in, and you got to make them, so you got to make them family, man. This dude is a good dude, man. I've like I said, went out to been to the golf to the golf range, been to the cigar lounges. I've learned a lot from this cat, man, just from the short time I've known this man, hanging out or whatever. And very knowledgeable young man. I mean, I can say young man, but you know what I'm saying? Very knowledgeable.
You could have.
You call me young man. Very knowledgeable, man. He got a lot of stuff. He wears a lot of hats. And that's why I want to get him on the show, man, because he wears so many hats, man. And I kind of feel like the hats that he wear, a lot of people can learn from. You can ask questions or whatever. If you had anything you want to know about him or whatever, man. But without further ado, man, y'all get up for my boy, man. Thomas in the building. Let's go. Clap it up. Clap it up. You know what I'm saying? I can't hear the clap.
Fill it up,
The
fill it up,
engineer,
man. I
the
appreciate
engineer
it,
is
bro.
selected.
Actually, I
It
can
ain't
hear
on
it.
me. It ain't on
They,
me,
So,
dog.
so, so
Yeah.
Thomas, man, hey, do me a favor, man. Tell the people a little bit about yourself, man, before we get into it.
Oh man, listen, my story is long. I'm gonna try to summate it as quick as possible. The highlights, right, and some lowlights. All right. So first, 52, right? I'm retired from NYPD. On the intro, you talked about that a little bit. Uh, joined the force in 1997. Left the force in 2018, right? So my original plan was to come down to Miami and get a job down there and bring the whole family down, right? Well, I was going back and forth through interviews, and during one of the times back up, we found out that my wife was sick with cancer, and she later passed away from ovarian cancer back in 21. It was a hard, long fight, and I did my very best to keep her comfortable and safe, but, God called her home, right? I have two lovely, lovely girls. One is about to turn 20 in the next couple of weeks. The other one turned 21 last June, right? So two adult women who are making their way. They're both brilliant. My oldest, the 21-year-old, is studying medical administration. The baby girl, she's studying something I never even heard of. But the best way to describe it to you is she's studying the language of robotics and mass production and the robots themselves. So she's been into engineering and all kinds of STEM since she's in middle school. And I'm so very proud. I'm proud of both of them. Um,
Nice.
I'm here down in Orlando. I originally started working, doing the security thing with a company that I won't name, but I was the middle manager there. Didn't really go well. So I stopped working with them. Then I picked up the gauntlet of health and life insurance, and I started working with New York Life. And that's kind of more what Ross is kind of leaning into. That there's certain little pockets of knowledge that most people don't know, or they ignore, or they learn the hard way, kind of like I did. Because when my wife passed, I didn't have life insurance. And when we think about life insurance, no one's going to insure someone with cancer, so it's too far gone, right? And oftentimes that happens to us. We end up losing a loved one. Often, all of a sudden, right? Um, it's GoFundMe time, right? It shouldn't have to be that way, right? You should get yourself some life insurance. The smallest, littlest policy, right? To at least to take care of your loved one can cost you as little as $18 a month, right? We probably spend more than that on the cigars we were just talking about, right? So people think it's well above their head and it really isn't. They really have the funds to do it. It's just a matter of getting the knowledge and having the wherewithal to actually do it and committed to doing it. Not to mention, life insurance actually can benefit you in financial forms, and we can talk about that a little bit later.
Yeah, no
Nice.
doubt, man. So, yeah, man. So, first of all, my condolences. I don't think I ever really told you. You know what I'm saying? Got a chance to say my condolences for your loss. I didn't realize it was not so long ago, man.
Yeah,
And
really, really.
something we talk about on this show, man. Something we do talk about in this show is a lot of times it's our culture. We don't prepare. You know what I'm saying? We don't do wills. We don't have, our insurance. We don't have our, what the old people say, we don't have our business in order, and, a lot of times it's like I said, it is too late. So, thank you for that segue, man. Definitely. Because, people, we have to understand as a culture and in general, but especially as a culture, because we are more of a people who don't have our business in order when it's time, and life is short. Like you say, you never know. You find out tomorrow, then guess what? Now it's too late. So, hey, so tell us, man. Well, so living in New York, I mean, did you? So is that someplace you grew up in? I mean, where you originally from, and like I said, tell people, I guess, where you grew up at, and
Oh,
how was life, growing up.
listen, I actually grew up a full time New Yorker, right? So first part of my life, Queens, right? Shout out to Queens. I went to a fairly big school in Queens, New York, but my mom,
Unit.
Yeah, shout out to Queens,
my mom
Rockaway.
moved us
All
out
right, let's go.
to Brooklyn. So Brooklyn has been in my blood for most of my adult life, right? Shout out to Brooklyn. That's a lot of special people out there in Brooklyn for me. I still have my house in Brooklyn, right? I'm still working on that. So yeah, I'm a
Okay, son.
New Yorker by blood. But here's the funny thing: the only thing in New York I really love is the Yankees. I don't like the
Really?
Jets, don't like the Giants. I really don't like the Knicks. I kind of mess with the Nets, but that's only because they're in Brooklyn. The stadium was right close to one of my patrol posts. So actually, I saw one of Karis LeVert one time on the subway when he was a rookie. That's actually a funny story. He was a rookie. He thought that the practice was at the facility, at the arena. Well, they actually have a practice and health facility about 2 miles away from the stadium. And literally, he's like, "Well, I'm just gonna jump on the train." And he jumped on the train and went to get his thing. And of course, I was the officer that was there, let him on the train for free. But yeah, born and bred Brooklyn, through and through. All the dope food spots. There's one or two. Uh, losing my train. One or two cigar spots in Brooklyn I can tell people to go to if they're in the New York area. But yeah, that's me, a Brooklyn through and through.
So, so
Me and
I
Captain
had, I had
America.
one more.
I'm just a Brooklyn kid.
I got another question, and I'm gonna let Hayes and Aaliyah ask question. But I've always wondered. Okay, so NYPD is known for being some of the most hated police in the country, right? Besides in California. But so have you experienced? I mean, I guess the hate at a different level. Um, being an ex NYPD, and do people I guess approach you different? Do people follow you different? You know what I'm saying? Since you're ex NYPD, but has it affected your life? I guess is what I'm asking.
Well, listen, I'll tell it like this: the people who hate NYPD have a reason to hate NYPD. People who hate police pretty much hate police for a reason. My experiences is most people, your everyday people, don't have interactions with police. They don't think anything about us, right? They're the same kind of people that don't think about the mailman or the kid, the person who drives the school bus for their kids. They don't think about them. They're just there. There's something necessary to make the city move. People who don't like us are the people who are doing wrong, right? Now, I'll say this. I always talk about a pendulum in law enforcement. In a lot of ways, it's kind of like with politics too, right? Now I grew up in New York my whole life, so I can speak to this firsthand, right? I can speak to it from when I was a little boy, right? When we had Mayor Dinkins, God rest, right? He was a little bit lighter on crime, right? So let's say we're saying on the left side of the pendulum, right? Then here comes Giuliani, bam, they go hard right, too harsh, right? Now Giuliani was there through 9/11, boom, he left. Then he had Bloomberg. Bloomberg said, "Hey, I'm a mayor. I'm just going to follow what was working, right? He's a businessman. He does things in that fashion. What worked before, let's continue doing it." So he did the same thing that Giuliani did, put more money into it, right? So then they were doing the same thing. Well, Mayor de Blasio says, well, that's backwards. We shouldn't be doing that. It's really difficult for people of color, but the people of color neighborhoods are usually more crime ridden, right? It's terrible to say, but that's how it is. So what does he do? Boom, hard left again, lighter on crime. When we had Mayor De Blasio there, right? What we need in all facets, whether it be in New York, Cincinnati, Chicago, whatever, is somebody to be strong enough to be right in the middle to know, yeah, bad people need to go to jail, but we don't need to arrest people for stupid stuff, right? So now, relative to your question, my interactions with people is most people appreciated me, even when I dealt with somebody who was a quote unquote bad guy, right? I treated them fairly, like a human being, right? And most people said, "Hey, thank you for treating me as a human," because while other way would I treat them, right? This is a person who did something wrong. Most people, the action is what is wrong, not the person, right? If you just focus on the action, then you don't get swept up in the ego and treating them other than what they are, right?
True.
My family appreciates me. Um, One thing that I actually do say, the politicians will say, "Hey, yeah, we need more um, black and brown brothers and sisters on the police force," right? What I found in my experiences, that's the worst thing because those who do wrong see you and say you're a puppet for the man, right? You're weak. You're doing what the man wants you to do, right? White
Gotcha.
person arrested says, "Yeah, you're doing your job, right? You're doing what you need to do, right?"
Yeah.
Those who are getting arrested, they just want to be let out, right? If you somebody stopped you for a ticket, you don't want the ticket, right? So you're gonna do everything in your power to fight. And sometimes it's actual physical fighting, right? And sometimes it's just like
Mm,
bouncing off, trying to convince you, get to your heart, right? You just stay stay the course, stay straight, focus on what the action is. Their action is wrong. Your action is to correct it, whether it be, a verbal warning, which is a tool of the trade, right? Sometimes it's a piece of paper. Here, go to court at your leisure. Sometimes it's bracelets, aka handcuffs. Hey, I got to take you with me. We're going to spend the next 2.5 hours together processing you. Then you're going to go to court with me. It
Gotcha.
it happens like that, right? If you focus on that, then it's fine. So I'm sorry if that answer was like a little
No, no,
long-winded,
no.
but
No,
That,
no,
that,
no,
that,
no. That was
that answered
perfect.
my question.
That was perfect.
So, real quick, have you ever arrested a Leah? No, I'm just playing.
hold on.
Just
Let's
playing.
get Leah a little closer, Leah. I know those Philly people, man. They get really rowdy. They get really rowdy. So I
Makes
don't
me
know.
on mute.
Uh,
Go ahead, Dave.
Mind your business. Sit in your lanai, smoke your little cheap cigar.
Oh,
Well,
wait.
yeah,
first
Oh,
of
no.
all, I'm
I
talking
mean,
about my
ooh,
cigar.
that was blindsided, man. That came out of nowhere. But all right, then. Well, look, I gotta I was in I, wa- I got a few friends that I served with that became police officers, and in one area up in Boston, I got a buddy, that dealt with, Boston kind of had a situation of you had a very they went in that way of, hey, we need to add more minorities and diversity into the workforce. You know what I'm saying? And I would say for that area, I would say that would be a thing. I feel like that would probably be more of a positive. It is interesting for you to, saying kind of talk about that being a negative, at least in your experience. I maybe just dealing with those neighborhoods and whatnot and what they tried to insinuate compared to it being a positive. But during the protests and during the marches and all that stuff that was taken out, was that was happening during 2020 2021 time frame. Like, what was your, because I talked to my buddy about this, like, what was kind of your perspective as of what was happening, as of, hey, there's certain things that these people are talking about, what they're marching about and stuff like that, that is a positive, and yeah, it could be correct. But then there's also a part of like, yeah, I'm a police officer and I chose to do this, and there's certain things that maybe people outside of your normal person, of course, they don't know the behind the scenes. Just like, hey, me being in the military, they don't know the behind the scenes of some of the stuff and the actions that take place. So, what kind of conflicts, or if you did have any conflicts, was it like during that time frame?
Well, I want to answer your question, but first I want to get to this one quick, very important point about what I was talking about earlier.
Mhm.
A male white police officer, right? He tells someone of color to do something, they do it right away. I've seen it with my eyes. Bow, snap. As soon as I tell them to do something, as a male black, right, and a lot of times the female blacks and some the female Hispanics, right, it's who are you? You're nobody, right? So that's the sort of thing. Like being a person of color doesn't help you. In a lot of ways, it might hurt you, right? Now, to answer your question, Lawson, I wasn't in any conflict about what was going on because one, relative to George Floyd, wasn't there. We all saw the video, right? Terrible, terrible, terrible. It wasn't even a tragedy. It was a disgusting act, right? So any human being sees that and say, okay, that person needs to go to jail. That
Mhm.
person happens to be a police officer, needs to go to jail. Those officers that stood around did nothing, they need to go to jail. Okay. The people who were protesting as it being systemic, that's where I say it's wrong, right? Because for it to be systemic, this is what I view as systemic, right? It happens so often, right, that you're at your wit's end. To me, and this is going to sound off, right? It doesn't happen often enough, in the sense that in third world countries, right, it's happened so often that people just walk by and it's like, hey, it's nothing. But it happens so few times that it bends on the outlier that you're like, that's insane. How can we let that happen? Right? Like in other words, I'll ask the three of you. When's the last time you applauded someone for brushing their teeth? That's insane, right? You would never applaud someone brushing their teeth, right?
Today,
You applauded for someone brushing their teeth,
Yeah.
right?
my
It's a
my
common
my
act, right? But you would
my
applaud.
granddaughter had brushed her teeth earlier. We had clapped about it. So
But we all applaud like Simone Biles, right? She's unique and an outlier. She's an incredible person, right? An incredible athlete, right? So these outliers bring attention to you. The media brings attention to these outliers because they're terrible things, right? That's what makes them newsworthy, right? For it to be systemic, it would have to happen on a regular basis. That's why I say it doesn't happen often enough, meaning that these outliers bring our attention and stir our ire up. But if you look at interactions with police on a regular basis and things like this that are outliers, yeah, the outliers get your attention, but it's not systemic because it's not happening all the time, if you follow what I'm saying.
And let me you're saying that killings don't happen at often. They are the outliers, not the police brutality, not the the just the general disregard for seeing people of color who happen to be police people. I think people is the right word, but policeman or policewoman. But being a person of color, the disrespect they are they're receiving. You're saying all of that is outliers.
I'm saying the killings are definitely outliers, right?
Right?
And I'm trying to follow your point of you saying that people of color being disrespected, people of color avoiding, because I didn't hear the
What I
setup
meant,
for your question.
you're saying what you said was that people of color, police personnel who are people of color, the disrespect they receive as um officer of the law and the police brutality. You're saying those are also outliers, or those are just I guess I'm trying to figure out what there was three distinct things you said, and I want to
Okay,
make
so
sure.
the first thing I started with, just to be clear, the
Oh,
first thing I started with was relative to what I said before about being a police officer and having the politicians saying we should have more police of color. And I'm saying that's actually not quite the answer because people who do wrong don't care what color the police officer is. It's the shield, it's the uniform, it's the authority figure, it's the representation of government, right? So that's the first thing I said. The latter thing I was referring to is the killings, the abuses that you see on the news, right? The news, their job is for you to tune in, right? So they get the most disgusting things that occur, right? And
stations like
that clues you in. And those are the outliers I'm referring to. What I'm saying is that what needs to be corrected that during the George Floyd time, the Black Lives Matter protests everywhere, was the insinuation or the thought that this is systemic. And my position is that it's not systemic, merely in the fact that because they don't happen all the time. Because if it happened all the time, then we would see it all the time. It happens often enough that it can be highlighted to make the news, right? So you hear it, one story dies, another story comes up, and in your mind, you're like, oh, this happens all the time. But it doesn't, because if it happened all the time, then it wouldn't be news. It would be mundane, like brushing your teeth. That was my point. But the fact that it happens very rarely, much like a Simone Biles triple Lutz or whatever they call things they do, all right, that's fantastical, right? That brings your attention, and that's newsworthy because no one's ever done that before. It's an outlier of human athleticism, much like this terrible killings of black people are outliers, and they are also newsworthy. Again, I'm not agreeing with any of the killings. Like, yeah, these people should pass. I'm saying that the Black Lives Matter and George Floyd uh, protests were on that this sort of thing happens all the time. This is systemic. This is part of what's wrong. And I'm saying that it's clearly not systemic because if you look at data and living it as a police officer, most of your time as a police officer is quite boring, right? There's really nothing going on. And most people comply with what police say. Most police officers don't have much to do. And it just, the day
So
ends and ends.
Go ahead,
I
Aaliyah.
had
I hope I clarified
okay,
that.
Yeah,
go
yeah.
ahead,
That's
Leo.
fine.
just wanted to make sure that we were clarifying points you were making, because I think, like you said, a lot of people do think that because we see it sensationalized all the time, that it happens all the time. I think what happens all the time, what does happen all the time, is the racial profiling, is the ideology that most of the crime happens in black and brown ghettos. most of the people committing crime are black and browns because that's where the highest percentages of crime happen. When the reality is, it's harder to police those areas. um I do think that the sensationalism of police brutality and police killings, I don't think it gets highlighted enough because it happens often enough that it should be sensationalized to outrage people, to let them know that this is happening. And when you start voting on, I want to vote to do X, Y, and Z with our tax dollars, and we are now weaponizing our police departments to the guilt of the army is a problem.
Okay, so can I interject something really quickly here, right? So we use words like brutality, right? Brutality is a something that's in excess, right? We can all agree that word that something is in excess. But would you agree that it's necessary to use some level of violence to do someone? Like I'm 6'3",
I, I
220 pounds. If I said, "Hey, I'm gonna
I'm
harm you, but you can't harm me," I need you
right.
to
I agree with you wholeheartedly. I
right.
think what
So
the
yeah,
issue is was, or rather, what's happening is the disparity in which the escalation happens comes from a place as a police officer, a white male police officer, like you said. What happens is your mindset when you're seeing white people commit crimes, or whatever ages they are, whatever gender they are, whatever the crime is, they're making a mistake. It's a bad decision. Whereas when they see black people do it, it's you all think it's you see what I'm saying? It's an individual issue when they're looking at it from a perspective of people who look like them. When you say that, I think we shouldn't hire more black and brown, we should hire more black and brown, because I wouldn't be as distrustful to the police force if they were all white, as opposed to we got a few colors sprinkled in there, all the colors, you name them all, anything that's not white, that's what I mean.
okay,
So
so that's a fair perspective. But my position is that if you had an entire precinct, and this is something they attempted in NYPD, if you had an entire precinct full of brown people patrolling a majority brown neighborhood, would that reduce
that
crime? No,
Simpson, yeah.
the crime would still the crime would still exist, right? And if the crime still exists, then someone's
Yes,
going
but
to.
the
I'm sorry. Go
way
ahead.
it
I don't want to interrupt.
goes would be different. Because here's the thing.
I'm sorry.
Coming
The
me
beginning of your sentence was garbled because of the microphone. So can you say that
Me and
again?
you have a similar background. You understand why I was making the decisions I made to lead me to, sit in front of you as a perpetrator of crime. Whereas what any other kind of officer, let's just say white for this conversation, a white officer looks at me and just see this drug queen pin. You looking at me, I'm just selling a few dime bags to make sure my baby got Pampers, or I can pay my daycare bill. It's a difference. You'd understand that because you came from that neighborhood, you came from my background, you understand why I'm doing it. Not negating the fact that I did it, not negating the fact that it's a crime, but you would look at it as, I'm not doing this for monetary gain as much as I'm doing it to survive, because you understand that. Whereas a white person will look at it and say, give her 50 years, give her the max because she done did it. But you got this motherfucker over here doing the same thing who look like you. And you be like, this person made a mistake because she had access to every available good thing, and she made a mistake. But you look at me with those same things and you be like, oh, she just want to be out here committing crime. Not you per se, I'm just saying it in general.
So
um
I have to interject here because this is very important, and this is actually kind of how the rhetoric of things went in 2020, right? Just like we would never want someone of any color to paint a broad stroke for all of our people, right?
right.
Immediately, because there's a group that's finite, male, white, police officer. That's a finite group, but you immediately paint them all with a broad brush. And I can tell you from my experience as a man and as a police officer, right? Some of the sweetest, kindest, giving people are male whites, right? Are police officers, people who sacrifice time away from their family to interact with people in the community that they patrol, right? But if you paint the wall with a broad stroke, then immediately they become nothing. And one other thing I have to really interject, right? During the Black Lives Matter height, right, and the protests, there were several people like, okay, yeah, they have a right to do this, and I agree with them as police officers, right? Okay, I may be one of them, I may not be, right? The important thing is no one there, much like you made the generalization, no one there knows how you think when you're wearing that uniform, right? So you could be in total agreement with their political stance, but the brick that they throw doesn't know to find the racist bad cop. They know that that's going towards the cops, right?
I
Now,
understand.
if you're wearing a uniform, whatever job you're doing, somebody throws a brick at you, right? You're going to react to that,
Was
right?
there. Got you.
So
I'm thinking.
what I'm saying
She
is,
ain't got to
right,
wear no
the
uniform.
generalization on both sides cannot function for us to work well.
Right.
That's like an important thing.
I'm
Um,
saying is the fight what you're saying is the fight against the generalization that you don't agree with or how they choose to fight hey, we need to hire more black and brown officers, like that's going to fix the problems that are there. Am I correct?
well, no, I was stating that hiring more black and brown people isn't the answer because people who are set to do wrong will do wrong, no matter what the color, right? That I've interacted with folks who assumed that they were going to get off because I was brown, and again, I'm looking at action, not at a person demographics, right? Um, and much like my thought pattern, a lot of whites, male, female, a lot of Hispanics, male, female, they react in the same way. But now, if you're interacting with them, they're reacting to you on your action. You're reacting to them on their race. You're saying, "Oh, this male white police officer is a racist. He won't let me go because I'm black." My brother
Okay.
wouldn't do that to me.
Okay.
Meanwhile, what really happens is, which is ironic to me, if a male white says, "Hey, you guys need to clear this corner," whatever, whatever, right? All right, officer, we'll leave. If I come on the scene, "Hey, yeah, listen, we got a noise complaint. Listen, we just need you guys to clear the corner." F you. Who are you? Get out of here. You're a clown. You're square badge or whatever, insults they come up with, right? Like you would think that I would get more, much like you were saying earlier, Leah, I would get more respect. Why? Because I come from where you come from. I know the trials and tribulations.
That
If
as a
you give
trigger.
me a
I'm
place
not
to
even
live, right,
lying
you
to
show me a measure of respect. But no, it's actually opposite.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying. That the fix of hiring more police officers of color is not the actual fix. The fix is having some kind of level of morality in society as a whole. So no matter that, yeah, you are hustling to get something for your family to eat. But hey, let's go back to the morality of I'm going to work for my pay, do a legitimate job. I'm going to dedicate myself to education. I'm going to build up my mind, body, spirit, right? As opposed to I need something quick in a hurry. Quick in a hurry also comes from I made a quick in a hurry decision to put me in a bad spot, and now I'm at a point in my life where I need something so that I can survive. Right? You shouldn't be in survival mode. You take the proper steps, and now you're excelling quite in a place to be successful. But if you do things quick in a hurry, like oh, I'm gonna hit this blunt before class. Oh, I failed the test. I didn't focus. Oh, I'm gonna sleep with this guy without a condom. Oh, now I have an STD. So now I have to worry about doing this, that, and third. Right? I got to hustle up doing this thing to get money. All these things are quick, fast decisions, and now you end up having to do something else quick, fast, so you can survive. But if you took a step back and said, "Hey, you know what? I'm going to put a plan in place, follow the steps to do the plan, and then I'm going to be successful." Because anything that stops me, I can get around it because I have a plan that I'm following. I
So
mean,
I totally agree. Go ahead, Jace.
It's understandable. I mean, I do understand. We do have some, what I'm saying, some nice stuff in the chat, Mr. Ismail. He has a different perspective, and it may have been based on his his experiences. You know, everybody has their experiences that they may have, you know, saying felt, as you can read right there. So, you know, I always try to, and that was one of the biggest things that I did, especially during that 2020 time frame, was touch base with my friends that were actually in the police force. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Because that's the biggest way to really understand what people are actually doing, what people are going through. I got a lot of, you know, even coworkers now, they got, you know, their husband or wife or whatnot are police officers, and no different than being in the military. You know what I'm saying? I'm still in the military right now. You know, everybody up here are vets. When, you know, the war was popping off, you know what I'm saying? It was different to understand what that person is going through while they downrange, and the different type of stuff that's happening compared to what's happening on the news, what stuff they're being fed, what was
Right.
online. It's like those were two different perspectives, and I'm having the benefit of friends that I trust, that I know that they would give me the lowdown. You know what I'm saying? They're gonna give me the real about
Right.
what's happening. I could look at the situation different because I haven't had, you know, be honest, I haven't had a negative experience dealing with the cops. I've been pulled over. Most of the time, I'll be like, man, I wish they would. I had one time I'm in the military, I'm in a uniform. I was speeding. Dude let me off, like, hey man, do your thing. Other time, I'm in uniform. It was a bruh. He was like, take this ticket. And I was like, dang, man. I'm like, come on,
Take that,
dog.
take that,
The
take
white
that.
dude, the white dude let me off. The white dude gave me the ticket. And I was like, yo, come on, man. But I'm just saying, like, they were just doing their job. They was respectful. It was what it was. You know what I'm saying? So, Rajim, you said you had something to
Yeah, man.
say?
So I will say this, and and a lot of people don't agree with me and don't really give a shit. But um, as a father,
You probably
and I'm
should.
silence. So as a father, and I've said this before, I don't care who it was who shot my son. Let's just say that. Whether it was a white police officer, a black police officer, whether it was little Johnny from the neighborhood or whatever. You know what I'm saying? I feel like, what I'm saying, when we say Black Lives Matter, you know what I'm saying? That came up and that was a thing for about a year. Black Lives Matter. I love it. I love it. I love the energy. You know what I'm saying? But Black lives still matter. You know what I'm saying? And when we don't, like for example, I'm a coach. I coach young men. I coach young football players. And for example, last year had a kid, 11 years old, 12 years old, and this is something I do every beginning of every season. I have all the kids around first practice, and I walk and I go through each one, maybe 30 kids, and say, hey, what do you want to do? What do you want to be when you grow up? So what are your plans in the future? Do you have any passion? Blah blah blah. One kid, on a serious note, seriously, and he meant every bit of it. He said, "Look, I'm gonna sell drugs." He said, "I'm gonna sell drugs." He said, and I said, "Why would you want to sell drugs?" And he's like, "Cause my daddy sell drugs. He make money." You know, but I say that to say this. If Black lives truly matter, and they truly do, we have to hit it from every angle. It can't just be Black Lives Matter when they get shot by a cop or by, whatever. It has to be Black Lives Matter when they get shot by a young man who stepped on my shoes and he shot me for no reason. Another young man who want my shoes, or another young man who just don't like the color, the color that I'm wearing. It gotta be Black Lives Matter across the board. It can't just be tomorrow on the news, a cop shot somebody and all of a sudden, boom, we rallying, we marching. You know what I'm saying? But nobody gets upset. There's no uproar when little Johnny got shot at the club, or when this girl got shot at the gas station last week because of a fight or whatever. We have to teach. We have to teach better. You know what I'm saying? We have to be better at what we're doing as far as being role models, or as far as, what I'm saying, because it can't only be Black Lives Matter when somebody of a different color kill one of us. Because I'm gonna tell you like this, and I said it so many times. When Trayvon Martin got shot, my son was around the same age. And people got mad. Well, what you mean? Blah. What I mean is, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, this dude, Zimmerman, he should have went to prison. He didn't, but he should have went to prison. But guess what? If somebody else would have shot my son, he should have went to prison too. You know what I'm saying? Whatever the situation was at the time, whoever did it should have went to prison. It wasn't just George Zimmerman being a white man killing my son or killing killing Trayvon Martin. You know what I'm saying? Because I'll ask this question right here for everybody on the call. I mean, everybody watching on the cast. You know what I'm saying? Would we have had the same uprising if Trayvon Martin was walking through somebody's neighborhood and another black kid shot him? You know what I'm saying? If he wanted his book bag and shot him, would it have been the same uproar? Would it have been the same, we gonna march or Black Lives Matter? How soon we forget that we have to teach. And I'm not saying that anybody's better than anybody else. What I'm saying is, yes, Black Lives Matter. As a black man, I'm a very proud black man. I said, but at the same time, I teach. I'm a role model. I go out there, even my kids, I say, listen, man, before you make a decision to shoot somebody, or before you make a decision, take 3 seconds and think about it. It takes 3 seconds to make a decision that's going to end the rest of your life. You know what I'm saying? We can all uproar and be like, oh, the police this and blah, blah, blah. Yeah, we can. You know what I'm saying? But while we out here pointing fingers and while we out here putting responsibility on other people, because racism been around for hundreds of years. It's going to be here for hundreds of more years. You know what I'm saying? That's going to be here. But we have to teach our young cultural, I guess I ain't gonna say children, but teach our culture how to deal with, reacting to it. We have to teach them how to deal with reacting. And like a lot of times, you're right. A lot of times, the reaction is not the problem. A lot of times, you know what I'm saying, a police officer might come up and just go to blast. We don't know, but you know what I'm saying, to avoid what we can avoid, and to teach what we can teach, we have to teach. I tell my sons all the time, don't fight this in the street. Don't rip and you know get all mad and blah 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 because you feel like you're gonna fight it in the street. You're not gonna win in the street. When a police officer pull you over and you ranting and raving, blah blah blah, and I ain't did shit, blah blah blah, that ain't gonna stop nothing. You still either gonna get a ticket, you're gonna go to jail, you're gonna make the situation worse. Because first thing what the police officer gonna say is, I felt my life was threatened. You know what I'm saying? I felt like my life was in danger, so I shot him. You know what I'm saying? So, but and it don't make you no punk for being like, yeah, okay, officer. You know what I'm saying? I'll fight it in court. Or, okay, officer, give me the ticket or whatever you did wrong. You gotta take responsibility. If you riding around with a pound of weed in your car and you get caught, guess what? You gotta face that. Yeah, you gotta eat that. You know what I'm saying? You gotta eat that. You can't be like, I hear people all the time. I watch these different shows. They're like, oh, how they gonna put him in jail for having a pound of weed? Well, boy, they go to jail. Like what? What? Like you you can't you can't have a pound of weed in your car and think you finna get off. It ain't like regardless. I mean, at some point in time, it's gonna be legal. Yeah, okay, but it ain't. But still, at this point in time, in certain areas, it ain't legal. You know what I'm saying? So when you get caught with it, or you get caught with a key or coke or whatever, you gotta deal with. You gotta eat that. You gotta take that ride. You know what I'm saying? And we can't be like defending. I'm so sad. My son going to prison because he had a key of coke. Well, you should have taught your son not to have a key of coke in his car, driving around, whatever. You know what I'm saying? That's just my point of view. You know what I'm saying? I said what I said. Now I'm gonna drink to that.
Well, I know with what had taken place, what I'm saying, that kind of opened up a little can of worms, you know what I'm saying? But it's always good, what I'm saying, having somebody with that perspective, police perspective, having a different perspective,
the wind on the lanai keep breaking out the sun. That's all I say.
What you said?
I said
What you said?
it.
I ain't hear you. What you said? I heard something about the lanai.
Inside the house, all that damn wind out there.
Oh, there's a lot of wind
well,
out there.
it was always good to have somebody with that perspective on there. But I want to ask one question because we stayed on the police topic for a little bit, but I want to ask like your experience, what I'm saying, being in that insurance game, what would you say is the most important thing for, what I'm saying, our community and our culture to understand about, insurance and how important it is and how it can help and assist your family, what I'm saying, even when you're not here, how can that really support them and be able to take them to another level even when you're not here?
So one of the things with the insurance thing that it's funny that I learned as I got into the business, right, is that you can conjoin incomes to have a policy on the whole entire family, right? If you do it when you're younger, it's cheaper, right? So here's the basis of insurance. The basis of insurance is, uh, if you're familiar with actuaries, they basically take statistics and kind of map out lifestyle to figure out how long you're going to live, right? Actuarially speaking, Aaliyah is going to live longer than all three of us, right? Her life is going to be less expensive because she's going to live longer. So it's less likely that she's going to die, or if she dies, it's going to be stretched out longer, right? So that's the first thing. Females, a lot cheaper. Okay, so that, if you take any nugget away, if you're a female, get life insurance tomorrow. Second thing is, it's never more precious than to do it today. Why? Because we get older every day. We just got older by 50 minutes sitting here, right? So if you do it today, it's going to be cheaper than wait until next year. Oh, I'll do that when I graduate high school. I'll do it when I graduate college. I'll do it when after I get married, right? Guess what? Now it's more expensive because you're 30 as opposed to when you did it when you're 18, right? If you do it when you're 18, if you get a whole life policy, that means you're paying for the entirety of your life, locked in. Now, whole life policy is a little more expensive, but how many things do you have that you pay for that's the same thing throughout the entirety of your owning it? Your phone bill goes up, gas bill goes up, your rent goes up eventually after the lease is done, right? Even your mortgage goes up relative to if you refinance the mortgage, that sort of thing. Okay. If you get the whole life policy when you're young, it's going to be flat. So by way of example, let's say you buy a policy that costs you $200 a month. Man, that's a lot, $200 a month. But if you work around that $200 saying this is something I must do, what's going to happen is that $200 is going to quickly pay for the policy, and then you're going to start getting cash reserves because the bulk of it, imagine it's like buying a house, right? You're gonna the bulk of it's going to pay for the interest, and then a little bit is going to pay on the principal, right? Eventually, it flips on its head, and then you have more principal paid off than interest. Much like the life insurance, you're going to have most of the life insurance paid for. Excuse me, let me get a little bit more light in here because the sun's setting down on me a little bit. So let me flip this switch right quick. Bam, a little better. Okay, so you set yourself up, get yourself a little bit more cash reserve into your life insurance policy. How does that help you? When you get it when you're 18, when you graduate college at 21, you have a little bit of cash there. I'll just say, by best estimate, in 4 years, you'd have about $12,000 just sitting there. You can do anything with. But if you don't touch it, let it sit for another 12 years, another 4 years. That 12,000 can be as high as 30,000 because, again, these whole life policies earn dividends. They stack on top of each other, earning dividends on those dividends, right? Much like the stock game, but it's a little bit better because it's more guaranteed. Stock goes up and down. So when you need it, it might not have the same value it had 6 years ago. And life insurance is going to be steady, right? It's going to steady grow. And as a matter of fact, there's a way that you can actually write the policy that you don't pay it over the life of your entire life, right? For 80 years, 60 years. You can actually say, hey, I'm going to pay this all up front. I'm going to knock this out in 20 years, right? Of course, that's going to be more expensive because you're condensing your payments. But after 20 years, you can have $1 million policy after something you just started that's worth $200,000 of a death benefit, right? When you're not here. So again, the answer to your question, how does it benefit the family, right? So you write yourself a policy for, let's just say for yourself as a single person, right? You write a term policy for 10 years, right? So you say you're going to be covered for 10 years. Something happens to you, God forbid, you're going to be taken care of. Your family doesn't have, it's not a pressure on the financial for your family. Okay. In that 10-year time span, you can add an additional policy, and that 10 years will be reduced by the additional policy that you add, right? So, like in 5 years, you split that 10-year policy into 5 and 5. You'll have a 5-year left on that term policy, and then you're starting your whole life policy a little bit more, a little bit earlier. Okay. How that helps you is you're going to have the same rate as if you started it 5 years ago at age 18 instead of at age 22. Okay. Right. Okay. Now, as that cash reserve builds up, all those things where you're like, oh man, somebody got arrested and they got to make bond. We don't have money for bond. I need to go fund. Oh, no. We take that money out of the whole life policy, right? That's what them other people do, right? That's one of the first things. Oh, it's no problem. Oh, we got to make bond. Boom. When you get money out of your your insurance, they ask you two questions. They ask you how much money do you want, and where do we send it? Like, how do we send it? You want a check? You want an ETF? Am I sending it to somebody? That's all. They don't ask you why you're using it, right? The other side of it is you can use it for education. You use it to buy a boat. You can use it to buy your first house, down payment on something, right? This is really money that's your money. The key to it is that to pay for the policy, it's out of your paycheck. Well, what do we know about our paycheck? Uncle Sam already dipped his hands in there, right? So that money that you have left over, that's yours. So that money that's building in the cash policy of an insurance policy, that's also yours. Okay? The insurance company is taking a gamble that you live and they never have to pay your death benefit. But if you die, that's the gamble you're taking. They're gonna have to pay that out, right? With the whole life policy, it's a gamble on both sides, but you're at least building money, building cash, right? And if everyone that's on this podcast who doesn't have a life insurance policy wrote themselves a whole life policy tomorrow, right? I guarantee you their life will be better and there'll be more peace of mind within 10 years. How much more would there be peace of mind in 20 years? You want to talk about breaking generational curses? That's like a key thing to it, right? Having money in reserve. If you're always living from paycheck to paycheck because you borrowed money to pay the lifestyle that you have, or you're trying to scrimp and save, and all you have is you have more bill than you have savings, then you're never going to get ahead. And that's one of the main key problems that we have in our community. But if you take this one step, you may not be you might not benefit directly from it, right? But your children's children, and if you teach your children and your children's children, then guess what? Then they'll do it, right? Anyone that comes into their life romantically, they'll teach them, and then they'll do it, right? Now, how long do you think it would take before the entire community has life insurance? And oh, by the way, that money is growing. And we got to talk about what do we do with that money, right? Are you giving it to Okoi Toyota, or are you going to the black-owned Toyota company that might be in, I don't know, Sanford, I don't know, whatever, right? So like, that money starts to cycle in the black community, and then it's beneficial, right?
Yeah.
It all starts with thinking about saving. Thinking again, what I talked about earlier, planning for the future instead of living in the moment and making the decision in the moment, right?
Yeah, right, yeah.
Make that decision right away. Sorry,
Yeah,
I didn't mean to ramble on. I just wanted to.
Oh, no. I mean, that's good information that everybody needs to know. You know what I'm saying? Understanding that, sometimes you have people that feel like certain things are kind of cons, or, it's a hustle and things like that, but they don't understand it until it really happens to them. And they're looking like, what mom left me, what dad left me, what, paying for funerals and things of that nature that they have to go through. And like you said, GoFundMe, and those things really happen. So that's very important information to have. You know what I'm saying? It's one of those situations where, for myself, have life insurance and things of that nature, got it pretty young. Just, and mom was more or less thinking about, coming from the war, hey, I could be gone. You know what I'm saying? And that, I want to make sure that the family's taken care of. So, I mean, having that experience, not only as a police officer, also getting into the insurance game and looking at being able to build up people, families, and having that longevity. We really appreciate you coming out here and hanging out with us while you did. And, we're gonna keep it pushing. Make sure everybody go out there, check it out. Make sure that you are paying attention. You know what I'm saying? Hey, pat your local police officer on the back. He's just trying to do his job just like anything else. And make sure that you take care of your family as well, with life insurance and those other things out there as of investments and stuff, to make sure that they're taken care of, because everybody's not going to be here forever. You know what I'm saying? You got to understand. And, sometimes it's a morbid thing to think about. You don't really want to think about that, but also it's taking care of your family, just like you go buy groceries. It's taking care of your family, after you're not here. So we want a round of applause for man, everybody out there, give a big round of applause for Thomas. We really appreciate you. Really appreciate
Thanks for having me, man. Good talk.
And now we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna talk about another person that didn't make good family decisions, but we got Aaliyah's uncle OJ out there, man. If y'all know what's up, OJ, you know what I'm saying? The juice is gone. He done went up to the upper room. You know what I'm saying? He up there doing the thing. So shout out to OJ. You know what I'm saying? Everybody can recall. I think everybody on this panel can recall the white Bronco going 5 miles an hour, so everybody sees you down the LA highway. You know what I'm saying? With the whole police force, it seemed like it almost looked like a weird movie that was going on.
I just want to
That was
interject that was
down
the
the
last time
highway.
that's the last time the Knicks was in the NBA Finals. He interrupted the finals. I was in the bar. I never forget. I was like, "What the hell is this?
Hey,
Turn the game back on." I didn't know what a pivotal moment in history was going to be. All I knew was I was watching the Knicks at the time.
Hey, OJ and the Knicks tied forever. You know what I'm saying? That's how it be. You know what I mean? But
you see this fool?
Rajim, man, where was you at? Where was you at when the OJ joyride went down? Jody, you're crazy.
Man.
Really, Jody.
Honestly, man, I was in the Army. I was in Fort Sill. I think I was at. Yeah, I was in Fort Sill when this happened, when this went down or whatever. Honestly, man, I sorry, Lee. I still think he did it. And I kind of feel like nobody cared about OJ except Aaliyah. I will say Aaliyah, Aaliyah had an OJ sweatshirt made. I know she cared about OJ. Nobody else was checking for OJ until he died. Like nobody cared about OJ until he died. And then everybody was, "Oh my God, OJ died."
That's not true.
You.
I said you. Sweatshirt since last year. That's my uncle.
I told you. I made the sweatshirt. I know.
Talking about my uncle.
I said nobody else cared about OJ except for you. You know what I'm saying? So OJ left.
So Aaliyah, give me some heads up. Like what was your situation like when the OJ deal went down? Was you watching TV? Was you outside playing? What was that when OJ was on the run? I mean on the slow motion run.
I felt like I was in high school. I really don't remember what year that was. I don't. I
1995, I think.
95.
Yeah.
I think.
Definitely in high school. Yeah, man.
If that's your uncle, you should know exactly what happened.
I don't. But truly, I hope you get away with it. So, in my mind, I thought he was going to Mexico or something. You know what I'm saying? Like I did not know the depth of what was to come. I was just like, yeah, oh well, he's the cops chasing this man in a Bronco. I hope he get away. That was my mentality. But outside of that, to be quite honest and to tell you the truth, at the end of the day, if he did it, if he did, he's gonna let his maker. They gonna have a long discussion about it. They got all of eternity to chit chat about it. I don't know. I wasn't there, God, but I felt like I would have been safe if I was. So,
Heck no.
I got demons. I'm still contending with, but no, honestly, really, truly, rest in peace, or Uncle Juice.
Juice. You with the juice.
I mean, at this point, if he did do it,
yeah. Hey man, yeah.
He woke up burning, according to the Collins,
Yeah. He'll get what he get. He'll get what he get.
Gloves don't fit. The gloves don't fit. Must be quit.
That's what I heard. So I think what we gonna do, because right now we running a little long, I'm gonna go ahead and move on to our Black Excellence. We're gonna give another week because we may get another response from K-Dot by that time. So we're gonna go ahead and keep it pushing and see. Like I wanted to get into it, but we've been running a little long right now. So all right, we're gonna go with the a little bit of the Black Excellence here. So we got Kodak Black was for the people. He out there, you know what I'm saying? We always want to make sure that Black Excellence that was out there, he decided that he was going to pay, I think it was about 25 to 30
Yeah.
26 people, their rent, they were behind, they were getting stuff squared away. So he went ahead, jumped in his pockets, made sure and took care of them. You know what I'm saying? It's always one of those things where shouting out the folks that are out there that are taking care of folks. And then also Black excellence once again. We want to make sure that we take care of Morgan Price, the first HBCU to win a gymnastic national collegiate title. You know what I'm saying? So we got to show love. You know what I'm saying? Black excellence. We always kind of put it out there. If they doing big things, we want to make sure that we promote that, and we don't wait for Black. We're trying to do this all year round. You know what I'm saying? People that are out here doing big things and taking big steps. You know what I'm saying? So it's always a great thing to see those people out there doing those things. So keep doing it. Salute you on that. Last but not least, we always got to take care of our vets and those that have gone through any type of difficult situations. You know what I'm saying? It's hard out there for people, you know what I'm saying? And they sometimes folks don't know how to deal with it. Not being able to speak with friends, not being able to speak with family. You want to make sure that you're not at a place where you feel like there's no other ins or outs, or you're at a dead end. And we never want you to feel like taking your life is the answer to the situation. So make sure you hit up that National Suicide Prevention Lifeline at 800-273-TALK, 800-273-8255. Your life is important. The only way you can fix it is by being here, and you'll be sorely missed, and it may hurt way more than you think it's going to help those that are around you. So make sure that you hit the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline, 800-273-TALK, 800-273-8255. Well, it's been a fantastic one. Big Ketchup Podcast. We went deep. We went extra deep on the police game. You know what I'm saying? We found out, we understood, we got to see multiple different perspectives on how everything was going on, how everything was put down. We really appreciate you, Thomas, for coming through. Hopefully, you know what I'm saying, it wasn't a situation of we were gaining knowledge. Everybody on here was gaining knowledge. You was giving knowledge, and it wasn't a hostile situation. Everybody's just trying to learn, you know what I'm saying, and understand. You know, we've gone through it, like going to war and stuff like that, seeing that side where we're on the other side, and the news and people are trying to understand how things are maybe fed different information than what you're really experiencing on the front lines, man. So we really appreciate you. We appreciate everything you've done. You know what I'm saying? You've gone through being a single dad, through a tragedy, taking care of young women that are going through and being great in their respective neighborhoods and their communities. You've done a great job, man. Once again, a great round of applause for Thomas, man.
Thank you.
We really appreciate you. So we'll have to have you on again on the show.
Yes.
And dive deep in some other topics and anything that may be going on. Make sure everybody out there, once again, subscribe, hit the bell, friend, follow all streaming platforms at Mint Ketchup Podcast on YouTube.com, as well as any of those providers that are out there streaming. Of course, we got pretty faces. We ain't made for radio, so come check us out. You know what I'm saying? We out here doing the big thing. We really appreciate y'all. Mint Ketchup Podcast, episode 80 is deeper than the surface. We love y'all, and we're going to see y'all next week. We out.
Thank you. Peace.
What's up? It's the MKP. It's the MKP. Why Jane in the building? It's the MKP. We got a Leah in the building.